Thank you for tuning into my channel. We're putting borders on the Busybody quilt today. So if you want to see how to add your borders like this, please stay tuned. This is the Busybody quilt that I've been working on for the last few weeks. We've done several different steps. We started by choosing and cutting our fabrics. Then we made the individual units and we joined them into blocks. And in the last video, we joined all the blocks together. So this is where we are so far. The only thing left for the top is to do the borders. I have chosen my border fabric already. We'll cut that on camera in just a little bit. But the first thing that we need to do, and you can do this whenever you are putting borders on, is measure the top to see how long your borders need to be. So I'm going to get some help measuring, and we're going to measure the long side first, but we do need to start in the center. So he's holding, and I'm holding. So we have about 73 inches vertical, and then for the horizontal we'll do the same thing. No, that's diagonal. And again, measuring from the center, I'll scoot it over just so, yeah, 58 and 5/8 or 3/4, 3/8, something like that, about 58 and a half. And those measurements are going to be important as we get ready to go to the next step. First, we're going to prepare for the long side by cutting our fabric. I've chosen this solid green for my border fabric. I had chosen a couple that had some prints in them, but then I realized that the solid, I actually have enough. I didn't think I had enough before. Since we're starting, even though we're starting with the long side, I'm going to go ahead and cut everything for all four sides, because this is about 40 inches with the fabric. So either way, I need 2 cuts to get through the side. And I've cut 4 of these already. I'm going to cut the rest of this using my shape cut ruler, and I cut these with my shape cut ruler as well. If you're not familiar with the shape cut ruler, it has the slits that you can cut. So it's just a long ruler with slits that you can cut at each 1/2 inch. So it has a 0 slit, so I'll start there, and then it has by 1/2 inch all the way up to 12 inches. For this, since my borders are going to be 5-inch, or the borders are going to be taken from 5-inch strips, then I'm just going to cut at the 0 mark here to square off that end, and then I'll cut at 5 and at 10. Okay, and that 5, it felt funny at the end, so I just want to make sure. Yep, okay, I got it now. All right, and then I'm just going to move these out of the way and cut the other 2, and then we can get ready to start sewing these bad boys together. Okay, I have my strips, and I'm getting ready to join them together. I'm actually going to do all 4 of them right now. I'm going to join all 4, and so you can choose at this point to either join them end to end like that, which is, it's fine. But I'm going to do a 45-degree join. I have my pieces, 2 of the pieces already here that I have that I've kind of pinned together. I line them up with lines on the ruler so I can get a good 90-degree angle, and then I'm actually going to draw the 45-degree line right here, and I'm just drawing it basically from corner to corner with where the ends are. And I have it pinned because I don't want it to move. And so for each set, I'm going to put them together like this and join corner to corner. Join with that miter. I am pinning this because it's kind of it's a wider strip that I normally would do. Normally I would do like a 2.5, and I can just kind of estimate. But this one's a little bit wider across, so I'm not going to try to estimate that. Okay, and then after I get the stitch, I'll press them out and cut off the extra part, which will be here in that seam allowance. So I'll do all of these off camera, and I'm going to start sewing the long sides of this border on first. There is a little bit of overhang, but I'm going to, I'll cut that off after I get the side sewn on. So let's do that, and then we'll see that next step. I have the long borders stitched to either side of the quilt, and then I've already created the top and bottom borders. One thing that I've done is I went ahead and I stitched the cornerstone to the long sash, and this piece was cut exactly to the measurement of the horizontal. So these started out at 53 3/8, and then I've added each of the cornerstones. I maintained my direction. I have all of the cornerstones right side up. Okay, now to get ready to attach this, since this has to be pretty exact, I'm going to go ahead and pin it. Normally I am not a pinner, but for this purpose, I'm going to pin this border to the quilt. So I'm going to count this as the midpoint here, where it's the exact middle of the quilt, and I'm going to take my sash here, my border sash, and fold it exactly in half. Let's see. Okay, and then I'm just going to mark it with I'm going to finger press it or finger crease it. And this crease, when I open this back out, this crease is going to go right on that center seam. Okay, and I'm going to pin. And then I'm going to match the ends to the ends here. And then I'm going to pin. I like to pin at midpoints or at estimated midpoints. So let me show you what that looks like. So I'll pin the end here so that they go together, and then I'm just gonna see what's the middle between these two pins, and it's probably about right here. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to put, I think 2 more will be great. So one in the middle here and in here. Okay. And this is not too bad because it's just, it's pinned, but it's not really heavily pinned. And I'm going to do the same thing at this end. And then I'll pin the bottom border, and I'll show you what the whole thing looks like. Oh, I do want to say that I pressed the long pieces, the side pieces, I pressed them out toward the border, and this piece is actually pressed in toward the green. That way these, the seams will nest here when I stitch it together. And I may put a pin there, I haven't decided. So let me do all of that, and then I'll show you the final look. Here is the finished quilt top, complete with borders. I love the way that the green kind of draws the green out of the quilt, and at the same time it kind of settles the quilt because of these busy patterns. I feel like the solid just really settles it. I am going to measure the quilt because I need to make the binding, and the binding again is going to be in this check fabric, the black and white check fabric. So I'm really excited to have this quilt top finished. And if you've been quilting along with us, hopefully you'll see that it doesn't take very long. It's a fairly quick quilt to put together. So if you have any questions about this process, please leave them in the comments below. Also check out the other videos that go with this series. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!